Head-to-head. Onto the Kumbo. Step back three for the top. Got it! We are going to overtime. It's a three. It's off. And a foul. Durant for the lead. Giannis to the line.
Needs one to tie, two for the lead.
44 points for Antetokounmpo. It's Durant for the win. Milwaukee has won it in overtime.
It is Friday. He is Jalen Rose. I'm David Jacoby. We are Jalen and Jacoby. What is it that we do?
We get the people. They want.
What a game last night in Brooklyn. Giannis and the Bucks headed to the borough. And we had a classic matchup between KD and Giannis. And it was that man, Giannis, who came out on top. Jalen Anthony Rose. Did he make you reconsider who's going to come out of the East? Did he make you reconsider who should be the MVP with what he's done in the last week?
That noise you hear, that beep, 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 are all of the people bagging up me saying that that's the best player in basketball. And by the way, he's 5-0. His last handful of times playing against KD for whatever that's worth. Now, Jacoby, normally a guy that's won Defensive Player of the Year isn't in the conversation for the scoring title. That's Giannis. Oh, by the way, he's the reigning Finals MVP. And all of a sudden, last year, he couldn't shoot free throws. Remember people were counting down when he went to the line? Mm-hmm. He made two when his team was down in the clutch to put them up one. Also, we talked the other day, big mid-range shot, big three-point shot, big free throws, big blocks. So when I woke up this morning, I felt like Giannis is the league MVP. That's one thing for me to say who's the best player. How about his last two games? Against the Sixers, against the Nets. All dominant performances ain't created equal. I'm paying attention to who he's doing it against also. And under the circumstances in which it's happening, they're still climbing in the East. He's still ascending as a player. Giannis, as I keep telling everybody, is the best player in the NBA. Did I stutter?
Well, Jalen, I had Jokic as the MVP, and I thought it was going to be very difficult for my opinion to change about that. But in the game against the Sixers, with the big block at the end, and this game, as you mentioned, doing it in ways that he's been criticized for. The free throws, 2 for 2 when he needed them. The three-point shot off a weird little broken play. That wasn't just a catch-and-shoot easy three. That was a tough three, and he hit it with confidence to take the game into overtime. I, right now, am wide open on who the MVP is. However, I think the Bucks are coming out of the East. We're going to get the Suns against the Bucks again, an NBA Finals rematch. There's a lot of basketball to be played before we get there, but it feels like it. But let's talk about the Nets, who are now in jeopardy of going to the number 9 spot, which means they could potentially play not 1, but 2 play-in games just to get the opportunity to play the number 1 or number 2 seed in the Eastern Conference. KD played really well. Kyrie was back. What do you see from the Nets yesterday?
I think when you watch the Nets, and rightfully so, we get enamored by the offensive wizardry of Kevin Durant. And the same with Kyrie Irving, his ball handling. And both of those guys, when they get going, they're virtually unstoppable. But each of those moments I keep pointing back to that become high-lit moments, like Kyrie's birthday, and they get acknowledged that he's going to be able to return. They lost that game to Memphis. In Kyrie's return, first home game this year against the Hornets, they lost that game. Last night against the Bucks, they lost that game. Mm-hmm. And he is in the lineup. And you know what else it reminded me? I told you that Drew Holiday is a top 20, 25 player, and you laughed at me. And the first thing I said was, lock down defensively. Did you see Kyrie the last 4 minutes of regulation?
Not really.
Did you see Kyrie in overtime?
Not really.
Oh, okay. The reason why? Drew Holiday, 3 total field goal attempts. Drew Holiday was denying him the ball. Drew Holiday was locking down. And that's what I mean, Jacoby. Like the Milwaukee Bucks, they're a team, and Chris Middleton got ejected. Chris Middleton got ejected for a hard foul, and they still found a way to get the victory.
They did, and people talk about the Nets as being a scary 8 seed and potentially jockeying to stay out of the 1 and 2 spot or the 3 or 4 spot, and they are that. They're a scary 8 seed or 7 seed, but they're not a threat to win the Eastern Conference for the reasons that you just laid out. And when you mentioned all the losses when Kyrie played, I don't think people really realize that they're under 500 in games that Kyrie has played. Like, it's not just, oh, add Kyrie and all of a sudden we're the best team in basketball, because they're right now tied with the Hawks for the 10 spot. This could get really interesting just for this team to get into the playoffs. And Jalen, it was a great night for Giannis. He changed my opinion about the MVP. He solidified my opinion that the Bucks are going to come out of the East, but he also did something else. He passed Kareem Abdul-Jabbar on the all-time scoring list for the Bucks. Jalen, what a momentous, historic evening for Giannis, and what a way to do it.
You go ooh and ah. When I jump in my car, like Uncle Chuck D said, people treat me like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Now I want you guys to also pay attention to something. Giannis, it took him 9 seasons. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, 6 seasons. But the beauty is that when they won the championship this past year, that the Big O and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar got a chance to sit courtside and watch him get it done. And when we start having these GOAT conversations again, I love LeBron James, but wake me up when he accomplishes some of the things that Captain has already accomplished. And I'm not going to even talk about the 4 championships in high school and the 3 in college. I'm not going to even talk about those. I'm going to talk about the 6 championships in the league, the 6 league MVPs. He's still the NBA's all-time leading scorer, and he still has the most unstoppable trademark shot in the history of the game. To me, he's the 2nd best player to ever perform in the NBA.
We could argue about that for a long time. We could also argue about who is the best player in the NBA right now. The 2 of them, I would say, the top 2 candidates, Giannis and KD, played against each other last night. And KD also said something extremely interesting after the game. LeBron James has 3 more games to qualify in the scoring title. Someone tells me he'll get there. But here is what Kevin Durant said after the game, looking back at various stops on his NBA journey and his legacy. He said the following, and I quote, "OKC has to retire my jersey. It wouldn't even be good for the game of basketball if they didn't. The same with Golden State." Jalen, you love statues, you love legacy, you love jersey retirement. How do you feel about KD saying it's bad for the game of basketball if OKC and Golden State, where he only played 3 seasons, don't retire his jersey?
Talk your ish, KD. I ain't mad. And I'm noticing something. Like I said, as the league has had a changing of the guard, and Kevin Durant, because of injury, is not a part of the MVP conversation, and Kevin Durant and LeBron James, you just said it, are in the championship race, they now have to be in reflection mode. That's what you're seeing right now. And absolutely, OKC is going to retire his number. He won MVP with them. Yes, the Golden State Warriors should retire his number because he won back-to-back finals MVPs with them. But if you notice, he's looking in the rearview mirror instead of at the windshield. And why is that? It's because he sees what you just said. Likely bringing back Kyrie Irving full-time doesn't mean they're going to win the East. And I heard you say that for the first time. And a lot of people going to be saying that. Also, like I've been telling you, if they don't have Ben Simmons playing at an all-star level, they will be a glorified first-round exit. That's what I see, Jacoby.
And this is what I've been saying about the Nets for it seems like half a decade. Next season, when they're healthy, they'll be a threat. It seems like I've been saying that for at least 4 or 5 seasons. Oh, next season, when they're 100%, they're going to be a threat. But this season, this Nets team, regardless of what happened last night, is not a threat to come out of the East. Jalen, it is time for one of our signature segments, a very special cultural or regional.
Let's go.
One of my favorite people walking this planet, Rick Ross. Rose. Rick Ross says he wants to climb Mount Kilimanjaro. Jalen Rose, cultural or regional, climbing mountains to the peak?
I would love for you guys to put a Zoom profile up there of everybody that's climbed any mountain, let alone Mount Kilimanjaro. And I guarantee you this is definitely cultural. As Rose was sitting there, pretty sure he was off of his amazing champagne. Ain't no telling what type of treats he probably had in his system. Like I said, the world needed a rich forever Rick Ross. We needed this. And I appreciated the fact that he said he taking this year to get his mind right, next year to get his body right, and then he gonna do it the year after. Something tells me over that period of time, as he walks around the house that basically takes up all of Georgia, he gonna realize that it's probably not worth it to get up on that mountain when he can be cutting down trees in his own yard with a tractor.
I mean, the idea that it takes you a full year to get your mind right for something, I don't want that. I'm good. And I ran a marathon. I'm never doing that again. I'm not climbing Mount Kilimanjaro. I'm not climbing Everest. I'm not climbing the stairs to the Empire State Building. I like escalators. I'm not taking the stairs. I'm not climbing anything. Mr. Rose.
But I believe you kind of misrepresenting cultural or regional, because you are willing to do things like jump out of an airplane.
Oh, for sure.
I'm not willing to do that.
Oh, I'll do that for sure.
You are willing to do things like bungee jump.
No doubt.
I'm not willing to do that. So there we go. This is definitely cultural. Doing things that have heights and definitely doing things when it's cold outside. You ain't gonna find us when it's chilly out there.
No, I will not be climbing Mount Kilimanjaro anytime soon. This is definitely cultural. Jalen, we have a champion joining us right after this short break. Welcome back to Jalen and Jacoby. Jalen, a long time ago, we said that every day Brittany Griner continues to be detained in Russia. We're going to recognize the fact that she is not home, and we are now on day 43.
One day is too many, and as you mentioned, we're on day 43. We just want to wish her a safe return to the United States. Sending prayers and well wishes to her and her family.
Jalen, there was so much attention on the battle in Brooklyn between the Bucks and the Nets that people might not have noticed that your Pistons had a huge win yesterday against one of the top teams in the East. This time it was Cade and Bay.
So we've seen the rookie class be really productive this year. Cade is coming on strong for this Rookie of the Year. And it's his all-around game. And I see you, Killian, out there playing D, getting steals. Bay has had a 50-point game. That's a big win against Philly. And Dwayne Casey has done a terrific job getting this young group to play well as the season has progressed.
Jalen, something dramatic has happened in my life that I never thought would happen. I never thought I would be watching a basketball game and actually rooting for Duke to win. However, this being Coach K's last year and him being such a constant in my life, I'm rooting for Duke to win. I can't believe this happened to me. How did this happen?
Did you already get snipped?
No,
I know you were
snipped
talking
yet.
about it.
Yeah, I keep delaying that one.
Okay, the way you're talking, it sounds like you already did, but in the brain. So let me get this right. You're going to root against Coach K and the Duke Blue Devils your entire life. And in his final season, you're going to soften up and root for him?
Yep.
Nah, come on, man. Come on, man. Shout out to Grant Hill. I shot my brother last night, but even I can't root for Duke. You know all of the reasons why.
Well, I know you can't, but I've never, ever, ever rooted for Duke my entire life. But for some reason, watching this tournament, I just want Paolo Banchero and Coach K to cut down the Nets. It would just make such a nice story. But I don't know if I'm doing the show the next day if that happens. I can't celebrate Coach K for a half an hour on ESPN2. Not going to be able to do it. We'll be back on Monday on ESPN2 as always.